Hi, I'm Peter Johnson, the Time Retriever, and I'd like to introduce you through to our time management coaching program. And what I wanted to do was introduce it to you through our presentation called Make This Year Your Best Year Yet. And what it is designed is to just take you to a process of looking at where you've been, where you want to go, and how you can actually make that happen for you and make this next 12 months be absolutely brilliant for you. And we need to start this at the very point of where you are now. And to do this, we want to do a little bit of forward-focused reflection. And in that, what we want to do is ask you a few questions like, how did the last 12 months go for you? Did you achieve everything that you wanted to achieve? Did you have specific goals and action plans that were put in place? And not just goals in your head, but goals that you had written down, specific targets, and a plan of action, the activities that you needed to do to achieve them. What prevented you from achieving these goals? What blockages got in your way? Or are these just excuses? The things you're saying that prevented you, just excuses for not actually committing yourself and actually getting in and doing it? Or is the biggest problem the fact of a lack of knowledge and skill on how to control your day? Is that what the problem is? You just simply don't have those skills and knowledge to actually get control of your day and make things happen for you. Think about those goals and those things that you didn't achieve over the past 12 months. What would the achievement of these goals have meant to you? Think down inside. If it was the income that you didn't generate, if you did generate that income, how would you feel now? What position would you be in now? That's very important to look at as we go forward. So we want to look at, where is it you want to go? Where do you see yourself at in 12 months' time? If I was sitting face to face with you, what would your answer be to me asking you, in 12 months' time, where do you see yourself? So what's holding you back? What will prevent you from achieving this going forward point? What will hold you back from getting to where you want to go? It's a very important answer that you need so as you can determine what you need to go forward. Now, there's 5 major roadblocks that prevent people and business owners and managers from actually moving forward and achieving the things they want to achieve. And the first one is, quite simply, a lack of proper planning. You need to have a good plan in place so as you can keep your focus going forward. Constant procrastination, putting off things, avoiding doing those important things. Frustrating interruptions, the constant, doesn't matter who it is, whether it's your team members, customers, other inquiries, whatever it is coming in and interrupting you all the time. Constant distractions. What makes you distracted? What draws you to other things other than focusing on what you need to focus on? And the 5th one is, when it comes to certainly business owners, and that is, there's no accountability. Who are you accountable for, or to, for achieving the things you're going to achieve, that you say you're going to achieve? Very important, these 5 major roadblocks, and what we'll do is we'll just run through each one of them at the moment. One is the lack of proper planning. Without a plan, it is impossible, and I say impossible, to achieve good time management. Time management comes after planning. You can't control your time until you know exactly what is important to you and what you need to achieve, and therefore need to utilize your time doing. So we need to have good planning in place so as we can then start the time management process. But people always say to me, I don't have the time to plan. But my answer is, you don't have the time because you don't plan. That's the thing. Time if you turn around and say, well, I'll make the time Friday afternoon and I'll do some planning, then come Friday afternoon, because of all those disruptions, interruptions, distractions, and a lack of planning in the first place, you're going to find come Friday evening, you still haven't done it, and you're saying to yourself, I still didn't get that plan done. It's not about having the time and then planning. It is about planning so as you will have the time. And anyone that has done a plan will always find that they actually have more time on their hands and they actually get more things done. So it's not about having the time planned, it's about having the time because you plan. And successful people out there, if you go and talk to anyone that you can see out there walking out and about that you know is successful, that are achieving things that you'd like to achieve, if you ask them the question on how they're going to do it and where do they find the time to plan, they'll simply say, I just plan, and that makes the time. Because successful people don't have time and then plan, they have the time because they plan. Now, with planning, there are some key steps that we need to follow in doing our planning. We need to follow these and do them properly because this whole planning process is what will underpin your ability to become good at time management. Without a good plan in place, you will not achieve good time management. The first step here is we need to understand our why. Why do I do what I do? And this is a peeling the onion type question where you need to ask the question, and when the answer comes out, ask the question again. And when the answer comes out, ask again. We need to get deep down inside ourselves to find out what it is we really want to do and why we want to do it. Because if we're not doing what we really want to do, then that makes it even more difficult to get your time management under control and to really achieve the things you want to achieve in your future. So we need to ask the question, why do I do what I do? And get the answers out. Once we've asked that question, we can then start to create a clear vision of what we want to achieve. Now, the best analogy here that I can use when it comes to a clear vision is photography. When you take a photo, you end up with two types of photo, one that's blurred or one that has a beautiful clear picture that you look at. The blurred one, we can't see what we want. We don't look at it, we discard it, it gets put away or it gets deleted or chucked in the bin. So it's absolutely useless to us. A clear picture, one that captured everything that we want to capture, a lot of the time ends up as our wallpaper on our computer or our screensaver, or we print it out and we put the print on the wall, or we take it and we show people and we keep our focus on it. We look at it all the time and we keep it and we keep our focus there. And that's what we need to do with our vision. We need to come back, we need to create a clear vision that we have up in front of us on our wall or on our walls, our screensavers on our computer or our wallpaper. A clear vision that defines exactly what it is we're going to achieve. Because once we've done that, we can now set our goals or our targets based on that vision. And we can set the time frame for those. That clear vision can be the story about my business, how I want it to be a business that's X size, it turns over this sort of money, it has this many people working for it, and has X number of customers. That way we've now got a revenue goal, we've got how many team members we want working for us, we've got the location, we've got what skills we need to do it, to achieve this. We put all these become our goals that we set into place and set our time frame. Now, this can also be a process of setting your overall lifelong goals. What we hear constantly termed as now a bucket list. You can use that to set your bucket list of goals from what you then choose from what you want to achieve in the short term. Because once we've got these goals based on our vision, what we want to do is separate the goals for the next 12 months. We want to bring them into a separate list that we want to work with over the next 12 months. And once we've done that, we need to select the 3 most important goals for the next 12 months. And the reason we select 3 is because if you have a whole list of goals, it is absolutely impossible to focus on every one of them. But if you ask yourself the question, out of all this list of goals that I want to achieve over the next 12 months, what is the most important one? what is the one that if I only ever achieve one of these goals, what is the one that I really want to achieve? And that will give you your number one goal. Once you've got that, you ask that question 3 more times to get your number 2 and number 3 goals. Because what we'll find is if you can achieve those top 3 goals, focus and achieve those during the year, most of the other goals, just about all of them, will be achieved anyway. So let's focus on the 1 to 3. It doesn't have to be 3, but no more than 3. It might just be 1. And remember, these goals aren't just business. They're personal as well. They can be your health. They can be holidays, recreation, family. One needs to be a business one, and that's a revenue one. There's no doubt about that. But out of those 3, they can be others from other parts of your life, because we need to be balanced in what we do going forward. Once we've got those 3 most important goals, we can then determine what actions need to be taken to achieve these goals. What do you need to do? Do I need to create a marketing plan? Do I need to bring on 2 more salespeople? Do I need to start up a proper fitness regime over the next 12 months? We determine the actions we need to take. And then from there, we can build your quarterly plan, because your focus needs to be no more than 13 weeks at a time. We clearly define what needs to be achieved over the next quarter, and then each month. And then in each week of that quarter, we write out the activities that we are going to carry out that week, in each of those weeks, to achieve our plan. Now, this is not about the everyday running of your business activities. These are about putting in place the activities that are going to help you actually achieve the things that you want to achieve that you're not achieving now. We then need to do our weekly planning. Before the week starts, we need to plan our week. We'll have a default diary is the best way to set it out to. There's a lot of activities you do each week. They come into certain categories like admin, sales, marketing, those things. Well, we can give ourselves a rough definition of when we do things each week, and then put our activities into those time frames. Now, people tell me they can't do that, but everyone over a period of about 6 months of working with them find that they actually can do it, and it actually works really well. They get a lot more time back and they get a lot more done. So we need to look at planning weekly and putting in those items out of our quarterly action plan, as well as what appointments we've got, what the family are doing, what other things we might need to do in the week. Then we need to plan our day. And planning your day is where the time management starts to come into play. We've got our plan. Today is about doing the actual things that we need to do. And as Jim Rohn, the late Jim Rohn, used to always say, never start your day until it is finished. Never start your day until it is finished. And what he meant by that was, you do not start the activities of your day until you have a clear plan on what it is you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and what you're going to achieve right throughout that whole day. And as Vic Johnson, another big speaker and philosopher in the US, one of his sayings is, never finish today until you've started tomorrow. And that is the concept of making sure that tomorrow is planned today. Before you finish today, set up your plan for tomorrow. Because one, it'll stop you from waking up all hours of the morning thinking about the things you have to do. It'll take your brain out of that alarm mode, and it'll settle into planning, doing the things that you need to do. So that plan should be put in place the day before, in the evening of the day before. Now, when we create that plan, we need to have a properly prioritised to-do list, and we need to know how to work it properly. And this is where a lot of people get their to-do list wrong, because they plan the things that they've got to do today that are about today's events to do first, and things that they want to do for the future they plan to do after, once they've got today's stuff out of the road. You should actually do it the other way around. There really should only be one thing on your list that is related to the future, and that should be number one, and it should be done first. So again, we ask ourselves, what's the most important thing that I should do today? If I only get one thing done, what should it be? And the only way to bring the future into today is to work on the activities that will bring that future into today. So your number one will always be, if it's an activity out of your quarterly plan, that should always be number one, and then your other activities. And there's a lot of other stuff we can teach you on how to plan your day as well. So we said the second one was procrastination. Avoiding things, putting things off. Procrastination leads to failure. And the reason for that is because we generally put off things that are important. We put off tasks that will take some time to do. And what we say to ourselves is we say that, I know that's my number one, but it's going to take me probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to do. I'll get this done, I'll get that done, I'll quickly talk to them, and I'll get this knocked over, and then I'll come back and do it. And the problem is that by the time you get all those done, you had interruptions, you had distractions, other things have happened, and it's the end of the day, and that what you said was number one wasn't done, because we put it off. Our plan, if it's number one, it's number one. We also put off the same things that are too difficult. We say the same thing, this is going to be a bit harder to do. I'll get this out of the road and I'll get that out of the road, and then I'll do it. We put off things that we don't like doing. If it's making sales calls, if it's ringing to collect money, so we put that off. If it's, you're probably thinking of other things that you do right now that you put off that you don't like doing. They could be those difficult conversations with someone about their performance. It could be a difficult conversation with a customer. It could be someone you need to terminate their position. You've decided that they no longer fit with your business and you need to terminate them from your business. And what we find is we put those off. We think we put it off to a better time. We put it off to that time. These things are about, if the decision's made that you have to have the discussion, then you need to have the discussion and get on with it. It's very important. We put off decisions that involve money. And that's because of we don't have a plan for it. We don't properly plan financially. So therefore, when a decision comes up about money, we struggle to actually make that yes or no decision, and we keep putting it off. So it's very important that we have a clear plan for that. Now, there's 5 reasons we procrastinate. One is the wrong goals. They're goals that don't suit us. They're not really what we want to achieve. They're what someone else said someone else has achieved, so we want to do it, or someone else has told us we should do this, so we say, okay, we'll do that. But they're wrong because they haven't been set properly in a good planning process. We also set them too high without enough steps in the middle to get to them, and we also set them too low, which means we put them off because they're easy to achieve. And when we don't even achieve those, we really get demoralised. The lack of clarity, as I used the analogy before, a clear photo versus a blurred photo. When we have absolute clarity on what we want to achieve, then it's much more difficult to procrastinate. No action plan. Our quarterly plan is about getting action underway. The actual activities that we're going to do. People don't set the action plan. Their dreams, their goals are just reality dreams because they don't plan anything on how they're going to actually achieve those dreams, and then they don't tick them off as they work through those actions and start to achieve their goals. A lack of financial planning. As I mentioned earlier, we procrastinate because we do not have a proper plan for the financial spending. And when something pops up out of the blue, we don't know whether to spend it or not. Or if we're in the middle of a project, we don't know whether to spend it or not. Whereas if we have a good action plan, we know that we spend that money on this because we're right in the middle of putting this into place and making it happen. Sometimes there are some things that pop out that you have to make a decision and get on with it. Don't put it off or off, just get on with it. As you can see, those 4 come out of planning. Simple fact is, good planning actually starts to eliminate a lot of your procrastination. The 5th one is a poor mindset. You know, it's those thoughts about, oh, I can't really do that. I'm not good enough. I don't think I've got the skills in that to actually do this. Those thoughts that have been built up inside us over years came from our families, our teachers and our friends, and from events when things haven't gone right for us. Oh, every time I do something, it doesn't work for me. all those thoughts are build up your poor mindset that will actually make you procrastinate a lot more. You realise that a person has 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day. And one of the major things about human beings is that they can control what they think. And if you're thinking negative because of your past and things in the past weren't that great, then you will be down, you'll be feeling down, and you won't feel as if you're going to do anything. And you won't be able to build your plan for the future. You've all seen people who live in the past about things that have gone wrong. Some live in the past about good things, but the problem is they're stuck in the past. Your past is your learning, it's your education. Your future is where your plan, where you want to go. But remember, today is, and at this moment in time, is the only moment in time that you can do anything about your future. And if your thoughts are negative and you're feeling down because of them, then you are not going to be able to do anything about your future. So we need to catch ourselves thinking. We need to stop at any given point in time during the day and do it multiple times during the day and say, what am I thinking? And if it's a negative thought, then we need to get focused on what is the positive to this. And it's about your action plan. Again, if you've got a plan, then you'd simply say, well, this is my plan, this is what I should be doing, I need to get on top and take it forward. There's a lot in mindset, and there's a lot that we work with there. That's just a quick overview of the simple fact that in those 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day that you have every day, if they are consistently negative or a high percentage negative, then you're going to be very slow and very bogged down at achieving what you want to achieve. So the third one was those interruptions. You know those things when people come walking in the door, knocking on the door, boss, I've got a problem. What interrupts your day? What are the things that interrupt you? Clients, employees, they walk in and that's what they come in with their problems. You know, interruptions is about implementing some key strategies. One is to say the word no. If you have a really good plan behind you and that you're working to, then when someone interrupts you about something, if it doesn't fit that plan, then you can say no. If you haven't got a plan, then you just simply say, oh, well, all right, yeah, okay, I'll do it, or I'll leave it to me, or whatever. It's very important to learn how to say no when you need to say no, so as you can be focused on what's important to you. The second one is not being the zookeeper. And this is something I know I learned many years ago, but as a business owner or a manager, you've got your own zoo of animals, which are your problems. On your desk, on your bureau, you've got these monkeys sitting there, and it's very important that you don't keep building up those monkeys by taking other people's problems. So to not be the zookeeper is when someone comes into your office with their problem, you picture that monkey sitting on their shoulder, and you've got a lot of monkeys on your desk already, and you need to understand and learn how to handle that issue with them, so as when they leave that office, they leave with their monkey on their shoulder. Very important that you do not be the zookeeper. Now, the next three probably should have been put before these two, because interruptions come from people. Irrespective of who those people are, they are people. And there's some key things. For you to get good time management, you need to learn some very key things about people and the way they behave and what they do. And the first one is how you communicate with people. And that's understanding how people learn. And there's three key basic ways people learn. I know that you can break them all down, but the reality is there's three basic ways people learn. They either learn visually, they learn auditorily, what they hear, or they learn kinesthetically, by actually getting a hand on it and feeling and touching it. Now, for you to be able to reduce the interruptions, you need to understand how each person that you deal with, how they learn the most, or what's the best method that they learn from, whether it's visual, whether it's what they hear, or whether it's what they get to touch and feel. So as when you work with them, you can use that method to educate them and reduce the amount of interruptions. So it's very important to understand and learn how you can utilize these three key areas of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And I'll give you an example of the age-old saying, and you hear it every day almost, and that is, I keep telling them over and over and over again, but they just don't get it. Now, the reason they don't get it is because in the world, the mix is 40% of people learn from what they see visually. 40% of people learn from what they get to put their hands on, touch and feel kinesthetically. And only 20% of people in the world learn from what they hear. So if you're constantly telling everyone what to do and how to do it, you're only getting to 20% of people. The other 80% of people you're working with aren't getting the message. And the problem's not them. The problem's you, because you haven't taken the time to learn how to communicate properly with people. So very important that you need to learn how people learn so as you can communicate and make better use of your time and theirs. The next one is the three key communication tools. It's learning and understanding how to utilize them. And those three tools are your words, your voice, and your body language. And it's understanding how each one of those, their level of importance when you communicate with people, on helping them to understand and learn and understand the message you're getting across. And if you don't know these three tools and how to utilize them, you're again going to get caught out. It's going to take more and more time for you to get people to understand and listen to what you say or do, and your time is just going to be used up a lot more doing that. The fifth one is utilizing people's behavioural styles, and I use a system called DISC, and it's DISC, and the reason I use it is because, one, the words are pretty simple. They're everyday words that we can understand what they mean, and it's pretty basic and pretty simple once you get the hang of it. There are four key behavioural styles for people. One's a dominant type person. They'll talk fast. They'll make quick decisions. They get to the point. They're in bullet point style. They're rushed, and they're taking people somewhere. An influential type person is someone who is a real communicator. They talk a lot. They can sell ice to Eskimos, and the Eskimos love it. They're the person that is there at the water fountain when you come in Monday mornings asking everyone how their weekend was. A lot of salespeople fit in this area, and they're outgoing and they're very high people skills. Then you've got the S, and the S is a stable person. The S is someone who is very consistent, very reliable. They have good people skills, they have good attention to detail, and you can rely on them to do things as they say they're going to do. And the bulk of the population, a very high percentage, are S's. And your team will be a lot of S's, and it's understanding how to communicate with them will get you a long way in your time management. The last one is the C, and that's the compliant person. Dot every I, cross every T. What the procedure manual says is that's how we've got to do it. They want to know a lot of information to be able to make decisions. And they're very important to making up part of your team. But when you're working with them, you need to understand what their behaviours are and what they need and how they need to be communicated with to effectively manage them and get the best use of your time and their time. So the whole key with this here is for you to learn and understand where you are. You know, when you do the DISC test, there's two types. There's a mask and there's a everyday relaxed style you. And everyone has a mix of each of these four behaviours, but certain ones are more dominant than others. And under a mask or a tense environment, you'll come out with one being high. In a relaxed environment, you'll come out with a different one being high, or it's quite possible you can be exactly the same in both environments. But it's understanding who you are and how to communicate with yourself and how people should communicate with you. And then if you can understand your team and what behavioural style they are, you can then communicate with them in that style. All of a sudden, They get the message much quicker and much easier. Your time management, your interruptions start to reduce. There's a lot in this, interruptions, but you do need to implement some key strategies in these 5 strategies to actually be able to get control of your time during the day. Now the next one was distractions. And distractions are about the things that distract you. They're not the people coming in, they're an interruption. These are about the things that distract you. So if you look at emails, telephones, SMS, push notices nowadays, new apps coming out all the time, new marketing ideas, new toys, all these things that distract you away from what you actually need to focus on. And when you look at them, you know, a telephone is do you have to answer every call? Don't you have a voice message that people can take a call whilst you're focusing on something? If there's an SMS come through, so it can stay there at the moment whilst I focus on what I'm doing. What I see is marketing ideas. I see people put a marketing plan in place, then they go and meet someone or to an event or something, and they hear this new marketing idea. So straight away they want to start implementing it, but they stop doing what they were already doing. And the problem is this has a cycle of every couple of weeks. They never ever give anything a chance to actually take hold and work. They just constantly change because they think they've got to have this new idea and be implementing it. But in actual fact, the idea that they were working on 10 ideas ago is just as good as the one now. And if they'd have stuck with it, would have been far better ahead. And that comes into going to events all the time, all the seminars and events. You should only really go to 2 a year, and they should only be about 6 months apart, because most people go looking for the gold nugget that they will come back and automatically change their life. That's never going to happen. They're constantly distracted by these events, whereas if they actually took the gold that they learnt at the event, took some time and actually planned how they're going to implement it, and implement it over several months, they would actually find that there's the gold nugget and there's the change. Change doesn't come overnight, but they're constantly distracted by it. So you need to have a methodology of handling distractions. And if I look at myself, I know we've all got a span of attention, an amount of time that we can focus on something. Now, how long you can focus on it depends on whether or not you're really interested in it or not very interested in it. And if you're not very interested in it, your span of attention is only a matter of a few minutes, whereas if you're really interested in it, it can go for hours. So I know on average that my span of attention is about 90 minutes, about an hour and a half before I'm starting to wander mentally. So I put into place methodologies that the important things, I give myself an hour to an hour and a half to focus on. And if I finish it, great. If I don't, I stop. And I'll plan when I'm going to work on it next. But I'll give my time to go and do that distraction type thing for a few minutes, and that coffee, and go and have a look at an app, or go and do something, go and check the phone, go and check the emails and that. And when I've done that, I will then set myself another time frame period. I'll focus again. I know I'm spontaneous, or I'm more spontaneous than I am fully planned. And when I try to structure everything minute of the day is when it falls apart for me. I'm an old service manager. You used to, in a sense, fight fires all day, things going wrong, and multiple things at any one time, and you had to sort them out. That's the way my head works. So to work clearly to a plan is going to be trouble. So I have a methodology that leads me to focus time and allows me distraction time. Focus time, distraction time. And I therefore have a lot less distractions in my day. The last one was accountability. And as I said, as a business owner, who keeps you accountable? To do the planning, to eliminate procrastination, to reduce the interruptions and distractions, to build that knowledge and skills, and to get the things you want done. These all require the development of your knowledge and your skill, and on top of that, they need you to change your thought patterns, habits and beliefs. Your current habits and patterns have got you where you are now. But if you want to get control of your time and start to make things happen, you actually have to change your habits and your patterns and some of your beliefs. And that's not possible to happen in a 1 or 2 day time management course. It won't happen as a result of buying a program, downloading it, and then working through it and ending up with a plan or whatever it is, and then left to be up to your own, left yourself to actually go and do it. Within a week or two, you're going to be back to your old habits, and those courses, the things you did, are going to be a thing of the past. You need to learn how to do this, and you need to learn how to stick to doing it. You need to have the commitment to actually take on and say, I am going to make these changes in myself. You need to have the courage to stick with making those changes when everything else is against you. And everything else isn't the people around you, everything else is inside you. It's about in you. It's your thoughts, it's your old patterns, your old habits. You've got to have the courage to stick and say, I'm going to do it. You've got to have that persistence to continue to do it. You know, people say 21 days to change a habit. It's not 21 days. And if you actually come along to one of our workshops, you'll learn the story about how it's actually 25 to 30 continuous days of 24 hours a day to change a habit. So therefore, to doing the things that we do, it actually takes months to change a habit. Now, how much you're interested and how much your desire is has a big influence on how quick a habit gets changed. But it actually takes months. It's not 21 days. And if you come along to the workshop, you'll hear the story about what it actually does take. So it does take this commitment, this courage, this persistence to make these changes. And you need someone to hold you accountable for doing what you're saying you're going to do and help you make these changes and stick with it. It's very important that someone that's there saying, so why didn't you do it? Did you stick with it? So over time, they help you build that habit and those new patterns. And that's where our time management coaching program comes in. It's designed to help you gain the knowledge and build the important skills of planning, eliminating procrastination, reducing interruptions, and eliminating distractions. Getting rid of those, getting those 4 things sorted out for you. And it holds you accountable for doing what you say you're going to do. And it helps you to continually build your knowledge and skills required to achieve the success that you want to achieve. Now, there's 2 phases in this program. One is the time management intensive, and we deliver that in 2 ways. Either a 1-day, 6-hour intensive face-to-face workshop, or we do it for those that can't get to the face-to-face events. We have a webinar series. There's 3 sessions, 1.5 hours each, and they are intensive sessions. And in those sessions, the whole idea of this is for you to learn and understand why you do what you do, to develop a clear vision of what you want to achieve, to set your goals based on your vision and set the time frames for them, to separate your goals over the next 12 months, to select those 3 most important goals, and to determine the actions required to achieve those goals. We then help work with you and create that quarterly action plan, I should say. Create your weekly plan. We teach you how to create that. We teach you how to plan your day effectively. And then we start to build your knowledge and develop skills on eliminating procrastination, reducing those interruptions you get every day, and reducing those distractions. So this workshop, it's 1 day or 3 1.5 hour sessions, and it goes through all of those key things. It helps you build the skill, the knowledge, develop some skill, and create the plans, and have the basis of the plans created, ready for you to start to work with. Then the second phase is our time management accountability coaching sessions. And these are 12 monthly group coaching sessions. They're designed to help you keep accountable for doing what you say you're going to do. And to also continue the process of growing your knowledge and building your skills to achieve the levels of success you are looking to achieve. You'll also have the option of staying with the group after the 12 months. Most of our clients have been involved in our groups for 3 to 6 years. They love it, they like the environment, they like the way it helps to keep them focused. Now, these sessions, they are in 3 segments. The first one is when you come in, you actually present to the team what you had planned to achieve and do and achieve over the past month, and what you did do and achieve over the past month based on your plan. And it's very important that you do that, because that's now holding you accountable. During the month, you know you've got to go and present to the coach and to the team what it is that you actually planned to do and what you did do. And you don't want to be the one that says, I didn't do it. When you leave the first, the time management intensive, you'll actually finish off your plan over the weeks after that, and you'll start to implement things. So when you come to the first one, the first thing you'll hear is that I got my first quarterly plan fully completed after I reviewed everything. And then this is what I plan to do. Now, the second segment of the group coaching session is a coaching session or a workshop session where we take a specific skill, a knowledge, select something. It could be to do with day-to-day time management, it could be to do with planning, it could be to do with stopping procrastination or eliminating those distractions or interruptions. And we provide you with more knowledge and skills in each of those areas for you to start to implement and to allow you to stay focused on getting better at time management. Then the third segment of that session is about each member presenting what they plan to do and achieve over the next month. We do that, and then there's brainstorming between the members where they give assistance and ideas on how things could be done that they're looking to do and those sorts of things. And there's support and accountability. Some people might get a bit fear of sort of standing up and talking to the group, but within one or two sessions, you start to understand the group. The group is a group entirely itself. Nothing goes outside of the group. Anything that gets said or done stays in the group. There's that security of knowledge, and everyone that's in this group is in the same boat as you. They are looking to create a better future for themselves and their business or just their life. And they all want to be in there. They're all supportive. And as I say, most of our clients have been involved in these groups for 3 to 6 years, and that's why they're there. It's about the group environment. It's about that camaraderie, the relationship, the friendships, and the accountability that they keep each other, and it makes it work really well. And as I say, you can join the group, stay in the group after the first 12 months. The coaching program is the time management intensive, and then the 12 months of the group coaching sessions. You can stay in those groups for as long as you like. And these groups are webinar and face-to-face groups. And if you're doing a webinar group, you might attend a face-to-face group now and then if you can. You can meet someone somewhere. Or if you're in a face-to-face group and you can't get to one month, you might do a webinar. But the key is you need to be committed to attending every session, because that's how you'll start to make the change in yourselves. Now, to find out more about our program, just visit our website, timeretrievers.com.au, and go to the Time Management Coaching Program page, and you'll find out more about the coaching program. You can also visit the Time Management Intensive page, where you'll learn more about these workshops. And at the bottom of this page, you'll see 2 links. And those 2 links will take you to either the face-to-face Time Management Intensive booking page, and the second link will take you to the webinar Time Management Intensive booking page. And so from those, you can just simply click on those links, go to whichever one you want, a face-to-face event, if it's going to suit you, or a webinar. You click on it and you can book to attend the site, those events straight away. And to join our coaching program, all you need to do today is book which time management intensive you'd like to attend. And then you attend that, and then from there we bring you into the coaching program. So that's what I wanted to run through today, that presentation. There's a lot in it, and it does take some time to go through, but there's a lot in getting success in your life. And there's some key things about how someone can help you do it and how they can help you accountable for making those changes. You've probably done courses and that before and found that after a couple of weeks, they're just a memory and you're back to your old habits. This program is about eliminating that. This is about creating a habit and helping you over a period of at least 12 months make that habit stick and get on with better time management and starting to achieve your goals. So You can visit our website, find out more, or simply email me. The email's there, success@timeretrievers.com.au, and get in contact with me and I can talk to you about it further. Whichever way you want to go, well, we hope that the next 12 months, the next year of your life is the most successful you've ever had. And what we would like to do is for you to join us on our program and invite us into your life to help you make it your most successful year yet. Bye for now.